And then the smaller things, that those small things that change forever, that people don't notice, that are important. Like, you don't feel safe in your own body.
Sure.
You don't feel safe in your own body. So someone else may be like, no, I got you. I understand it. No, I don't feel safe in my own body. It's not that. You may do something that is totally normal, but because I don't feel safe in my own body, I will respond to you in a way that I'm either aggressive or I shut down. There's no in between.
Hey guys, how are you? So, in a few seconds, you're going to be watching the story of a lady by the name of Andi, and I just thought I'd come on here first because this could be a triggering story. She shares her story of survival and what she's been through, and so I just wanted to give that warning that this could be triggering to some of you. And you know what, I think I'll even maybe leave the numbers you can call if you happen to feel triggered having watched this video. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and give this trigger warning, and also suggest that, look, if you feel that you might be triggered by this story, because she does share, like I said, her story, her survival story, and if you do feel like you might be triggered by this story, I would encourage you rather not watch this video. And if you do watch the video, I just hope you'll be able to protect and take care of yourself, emotionally, mentally, having watched this video. So yeah.
One day, I went to spa to get airtime. And then I met a guy. And then he seemed nice, I guess. He was a decent, chilled person. And then we spoke, and then he's like, you should come to my place. I was like, oh. Then he was like, no, like, it's like not far from me. I was just gonna like chill and then take you home. I'm like, okay, fine. Since I knew the area I lived in, it was like a safe area. It wasn't like a shady area. Yeah. So
is it Joburg or where is it?
PE.
PE.
Yeah, like PE has like safe areas and like some really shady ones, but like the safe ones are usually just like white people and like middle class black people.
Okay.
Yeah, he was one of those middle class black people. Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, when I got there, it was just conversation, like wine conversation, and like there was nothing happening. Yeah, so nothing happened for quite some time, actually. Just talking about like random things, from things like Tupac versus Biggie to kids and family and whatnot. And then I think, I don't know what changed or whatever, but it started getting more sexual. And I was like, yeah, no, listen, I'm not interested in like that. So then he kind of backed off a little bit. And that's when it got really shaky. Like That's when it got bad.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was still drinking, and then I just stopped drinking, and then yeah, I stopped drinking, and then the next thing I remember after that moment was I was like basically on my back, nah, and then he's like, Ish. I don't even know how like she's put in words. Like this week it's tricky to like say it
Okay.
very clearly. I'm so sorry. I just need like to get my words together.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we went from I was sitting to on my back, and he's basically giving me oral sex, and I'm like, okay, you can, dude, stop. Like it's okay, you can stop. I'm not interested, obviously. And then he got more forceful, and then he tried to penetrate after that, but then it didn't go in. It was just painful. Like I was like, what's happening right now? And then I think I started crying. I don't know when, but he stopped right at this point. Then I went to the bathroom, cleaned myself up, like my face, like because I was like, okay, girl, what's happening? You as a red. I was like, you're a bad bitch. Just, take care. Just, just be like a lady. You can't be a lady. Be pleasant. And then I got back, and he apologized. Yeah, fine.
Yeah,
And
but
then
this
when
is
I got,
after he had raped you.
yeah, no, this before. Like this is he rapes me after he does all of this. So he apologized for doing what he did to appear like, okay, fine. I sort of tried to like do that, but I apologize. I'm so sorry. I got off line. And then, because when I got back after like I'd like made sure, okay, fine, I'm okay now. I got in the bed, and then 5 minutes later, my pants are off. Okay. And then that's when I figured, but no, it's kind of late for me. Like he's gonna get what he wants because he's gonna take it. So yeah, so I was kind of just like, he took it. It was me in the ceiling, like looking upwards. So I'm lying down, come on. Look up at the ceiling. I was like, it was just not the
Andy, Andy,
and yeah,
Andy, you cut there.
hi,
You cut.
sorry, which part?
So you're lying on your back and you're just looking at the ceiling.
Yeah, at the ceiling, and then he like made us the statement to the effect of, why are you so quiet, then I just I didn't reply, obviously, because what am I gonna say? You're like mid-round and you're having the best time of your life, then he's like, no, take it off, like take off your t-shirt. And then he just takes it off, obviously, himself, because I don't know. Then he sits me up, takes it off, back on my back. And then he continues. He has like more fun. We had fun. So I was basically looking at the ceiling. I like, all I can say is I didn't quite register what was happening, honestly, until he was finished. I was like, okay, I'm just lie here. And my brain was just, I was just thinking about a lot of random things. Like the lines on the ceiling. Like the lines on the ceiling, and counting how many of them they are and how they placed and how wide they are. And I can tell you, not that I am, but I can recall like his house like the back of my hand right now, and I've only been there once. So yeah. And after that, he wore his underwear and went back to conversation, and I fell in line, had a conversation. I mean, he's my ride, and then he was suggesting that I stay the night. I was like, no, my siblings have been calling me, which is a lie, but it was a lie that was believable because I do have siblings. And he was like, well, you can't tell them that you want to stay over. I'm like, no, they'll be concerned about me. And then, he was reluctant, but I figured if I get up and get dressed and stand and don't sort of like, I'd stand for a good 5 minutes and just like not move. And he's like, okay, you want to go? Yeah, I want to go. I mean, why would I want to stay here? Makes no sense. And then he took me home. Saying this gent then sends me a text. It's on that night to the effects of, are you safe? And like he's trying to be nice, and then he goes on to say, oh, by the way, I kind of pulled out, but not all the way. I was like, okay, nice to know. I mean, but I had to like literally fight him for him to admit that he was wrong. Even then, he only apologized because he wanted to be fuck buddies.
So, was this the same night that you were having that conversation with him, where you're trying to get him to admit?
Well, it was the next day. Like the next day. Yeah.
So,
messy.
How are you feeling like after that?
I didn't. It took me a couple of months to actually admit it actually happened. Like, after that, I went into a lot of unhealthy, spiraling behavior. And my grades went like to the pits. My school academics went to the pits. I didn't take care of myself. I just didn't. And I stopped, like, I didn't even notice I was stopping. I was doing things. But, for example, I stopped wearing shorts. I opted for leggings and long pants, and I was like hiding my body. In a way, I was sort of hiding my body, like thinking in my head that, okay, if they don't see your body, it's a safer way to do this, because they don't see something they like, and yeah, it took me months to admit it, because I had to, because my life went to shit, period. My mental health, physical health, just emotional well-being. and it got very bad. And everyone, my parents were like, "No ways, no ways, something was wrong here."
Mm.
And yeah, and then even when I started counseling, it took me a while to even tell the whole story, and I've only told it once, like in detail from the beginning to the end, like in detail where I remember everything.
Mm.
Yeah, like not something you want to talk about and be like, oh yeah, this happened. It's more like a, so this happened to me kind of situation, and you don't believe it. I think for me the main thing is it's not real.
Mm. What do you mean when you say it's not real? You mean the like for that
It's
period?
not real. Yeah, it's not real because I think that experience created a break between my body and my mind. So
Mm.
my body can be in a place with the person and my mind just shuts down. So it doesn't process what's happening at the moment.
Mm.
It's like a delayed reaction. Yeah, think of it as a delayed reaction. Then when it hits you, it's like, whoa, wait, I don't understand. What do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you know it's real because your body was there and your body felt being violated. Yeah.
When you finally did admit it and when you tried to now move from that space into a better space, how did that go and how is that going?
I think the first step that I had to take was saying it happened, but not saying it like with words, because as I said, you can say something with your rational mind, like, yeah, this happened, but you have to feel it. So the first time I said it and I felt it, like, just like, so this happened to me. And you just pause for a minute because you're like, wow, okay. And then then you start realizing the different ways it affected you and how I got to deal with those things. I guess it was a lot of guidance from my psychologist,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of patience on his end as well, because he didn't, when I was reluctant to talk about it, he just spoke about other things. We had other conversations, and he would only talk about it if I bring it up. And patience, a lot of guidance, and a lot of alternative perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
So the way you see something, and he'll, okay, mine's a male. He would say, okay, would you be willing to be wrong about that? I'm like, what do you mean? And then he explains why what I said, not that I am wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but the way that I'm putting it is wrong, because I am shifting it from what it actually is to what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more like, I see a man, for example, and I say, oh, he was shouting at me, he's abusive. And then my psychologist would say, would you be willing to say that you're looking at men from a traumatic lens?
Mm-hmm.
and then explains how that would affect my judgment and perception of people who are men. And just things like that just start building, and you start shifting your mindset like one step at a time. And sometimes you make like 10 steps and it's like 20 steps back. But it happens quite often. Like you make progress and you find, okay, I can trust a man again. But it's just the euphoria of healing. That's the first part, that the euphoria, like, oh my God, I'm healing, I'm great, I'm doing magical things. But like, it's a continuous, ongoing, lifelong process. It doesn't go away. Like, you don't just stop being a person who survived being raped. You just have to keep your tools in check. And it gets easier, I guess, along the years if you do the work. You can't neglect the work. You can't decide that, no, listen, I've healed, now I'm done. Because triggers are anything. You may think you're doing great, but one day you just triggered and you don't even know why. And you have to investigate why you've been triggered. Because I have had trigger moments. The one day I was walking it was just a 5-minute walk to just Spa and back, to buy like juice or something so silly. And there are a bunch of guys along the way. That didn't matter to me. Just like, whatever, South Africa, that's how we live. And then I saw a guy in a car. I just stopped. And I looked in the car again. The guy's on this phone. He can't even see me. But when I saw his face, I just couldn't breathe. I was like, what? No. And then, of course, I gathered myself and continued, walking. But that triggered me because we were on the same street 2 nights later, and I had a full-on attack. I couldn't breathe. Any man who came near me, I'm talking my brother, my friends, or anyone who was a male came near me, I just had a full-on attack because I just couldn't function. I just couldn't deal. And I was drinking, which was probably another factor, but just things like that happen. And then the smaller things, that those small things that change forever, that people don't notice, that are important. Like, you don't feel safe in your own body.
Sure.
You don't feel safe in your own body. So someone else may be like, no, I got you, I understand you. Like, no, I don't feel safe in my own body. It's not that. You may do something that is totally normal, but because I don't feel safe in my own body, I will respond to you in a way that I'm either aggressive or I shut down. There's no in between.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're gonna have to wrap this up because I don't want it to be too long, but at the same time, I do want you to fully share as much as you want to share of your story, because I mean, obviously, like I said, even when I was speaking to you about this, is people will be hearing the story and it could save someone somehow, So I guess in concluding, I'd like to know now that you've come to this place where you're able to share your story, what is it that you'd like either men or women or everyone, what is it that you'd like, I don't want to say for them to take away from your story, but what is it that you'd like them to leave here knowing?
I think it's take your time. Honestly, it's take your time.
Mm.
It's I'm still doing the work. I still have to practice my tool. I still have to remind myself that disagreements between couples happen, for example, or friendships. So, and just because you disagree with a person does not mean that they will now, attack you or whatever the case is in your head. It's
Mm.
just take your time, use your tools, and also have a support system. Those are the three main things.
Mm.
Yeah, honestly.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Andy. I definitely know this was not easy at all. And again, thank you for not only sharing your story and the strength you've shown in sharing the story, but also thank you for willing to open up. And like I said, it could help somebody who hears this. And um, I'm really grateful that we had this conversation. And I'm also very proud of you, seeing the way you've grown out of that dark space to getting to where you are now, and where you continue to go. It's an honor for me to be able to see that, and I'm grateful. I'm truly grateful, and I'm really sorry about it all. But I admire the fact that you're taking that and you're now trying to help somebody else. And I'm not just talking about like doing this interview. Yes, I know like the other stuff that you do, your writings and all of that jazz. But yeah, this is the end of the video, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you have yourself a wonderful Tuesday. I know it was supposed to come out yesterday, but yeah, it's gonna come out. Yeah, it's Tuesday. So have a wonderful Tuesday. And yeah, once again, thank you, Andy. And subscribe. Please do subscribe for more content of this nature. So, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day and goodbye.